This is what we think is a Thracian sword. We're not really sure what the bend was for, but I think if somebody's approaching you, and you would really know where the point is on a standard sword, not to know where it is. So any movement he does, you would find that you didn't know where it was coming from, so he had a slight advantage on you. We did see a sketch in a book of it. A lot of the references come off old statues, and there's a thing called the Trajan's Column, which gave us a lot of information.
Action, Jeff, move your club to the left.
We have a character in the film who we see in the Provincial Theatre in Morocco, and he's Pluto. He comes out and he dispatches people to the afterlife. He wanders round, and if there's any gladiators laying on the floor looking like they're not going to make it, he'll use this to break their skulls or dispatch them to the afterlife.
Shut the gates, boys. Shut the gates. Femi.
This is actually rubber, but it's meant to represent a large piece of bronze.
Good morning.
We were also asked to make a ball and chain, but I've made it a ball and leather. Sounds like an English pub. We've used a lot of soft bits and pieces so people can get really hit in the face and clobbered.
Action!
This sword we have here, we've made this one up. We're probably going to have a scene where somebody's pinned to the wall with their head in there, and one of our actors reaches across, grabs his hair and pulls him forward, thus decapitating him. But whether we'll go that far, I don't know. We've made a crossbow up here, even though this one didn't exist. The technology to make a crossbow was there. They're meant to represent Nubian archers, so they start off with this Nubian-style bow, and they let off about 4 or 5 arrows. And then as the chariots crash, you'll see them start to go for these crossbows, which are inside. Each chariot is meant to be like an armoured personnel carrier. Ridley's direction was that he wanted an Uzi-type weapon for one of the gladiators to use. So I played around a bit and made this. I couldn't even draw it. I had to make it to figure out how it worked. But it fires 4 arrows, or 4 bolts. You have to fire the top and bottom ones first before you can fire the outer ones. But it does work really well. It does throw them a few yards.
H camera marker.
We've got another character in the film called Tiger, who does some wonderful things with 4 tigers, but this is his sword. So we had to represent a tiger's eye and tiger claws all around here. Everything's looking a little bit weary because it's just come straight from being used. Within the Colosseum, the armoury department must have been quite large. I mean, it had complete areas underneath it where they would prepare. You'd have people working on animals, you'd have people preparing food. So the armoury section, I imagine, would have been very big. You've got the swords, you've got the sharpening of weapons, you've got breakages to service, you've got the whim of whoever's sponsoring the games that week because they want something different made. So I imagine there must have been a lot of armourers there trying to churn it all out.